What's going on, everyone? It's Mike, it's John back again. And today, this video doesn't feel negative. Does it feel negative to you, John?
No, it's nice to do a positive video. Listen, the news that's come out today, I think it's brought a smile to everyone's face. I think it's quite well known and documented on here that the Dan Friedkin group have always been my first choice. Me and you did both agree. Brilliant. That
Brilliant.
we thought they'd come back in for the club. Yeah, and they have. Our thoughts have turned out correct. Probably going to take about 8 weeks to complete, by all accounts. Obviously, the Premier League, the fitter owners test, and a financial test they've got to go through. But listen, with this group of people, I don't envisage any problems whatsoever. They already own a big club in Italy, so I think this just goes through quite easy now. And hopefully it's the start of a new era for our football club. We've been screaming out for this. Dan Friedkin group doesn't pull any punches. He sacked the manager the other day of Roma. Yesterday, he sacked a lady as chief executive. 2 people gone within the space of 3 or 4 days. Obviously, high-profile people within Roma. So he doesn't take any of this bullshit and the messing that we've had at our football club for years. He will come in, he will press that reset button, and it's what this club's needed for years.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's really exciting. And look, whether the process takes 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, as long as it's in by January 1st, and we can, start doing stuff in the transfer market, and there's things that, there's cogs that can turn, essentially. It's more exciting. The rumours that he left, and I was gutted that he pulled out. But we both did a video, we both said, I still think he'll come back in. And we were right. He did come back in. He did exactly the same with Roma. And now he's essentially, now the excitement is back. This deal is agreed. It's not just in principle. It's not just, this is, there's an offer on the table. The deal is fundamentally done. So as long as all of the ratification happens, which is the Financial Conduct Authority authorisation, the Premier League authorisation, the fit and proper owners test, which I actually think is already done. I'm convinced he's already done that. We're in a great spot. And, we've already, sure, Dyche will hate it, but we've already been linked with managers. We've already been linked with new managers this morning. There's one report of Graham Potter, one report of Gareth Southgate, which I'm not keen on. But this is a man that isn't scared of making high-profile moves. Roma had Mourinho, for example. This is a man that is not scared of going after big names and big players. And it is a rebuild job. It is a rebuild job because Everton are a mess. But I feel like we're going to be in the hands of a man that can do it. Do you get what I mean?
Mate, he flew over and picked Lukaku up himself, his own plane. He went and picked him up on his own plane. This is a man who, what he wants, he gets. Mourinho, I wouldn't say so much now, but, when he went to Roma, I wouldn't say he was in his prime. I think he was past his prime. But he was a manager who was still winning things. He knew how to win big football matches. He's going to put his son on the board, so he's going to have someone close to the day-to-day running of the club. And listen, I think this is probably the highest profile person we've had in charge of the club since the Moores family. That they were business people. This is a businessman, and he's successful. I think he's worth something like £5.7 billion just on his own. Obviously, he's going to have backers with him. And when you look at some clubs, who are run by the Americans, I think Aston Villa are run by an American group now, and obviously they've come in and they've made changes within the club and it's worked. Look where they are now. I'm not saying Everton are going to be there at the level Aston Villa are for a long, long time, because we're not, as you quite rightly say, it's a rebuild job. Rome wasn't built in a day. And, that saying, justifies Everton Football Club at the minute. It's a long process. As we said on here a couple of weeks ago, Michael, I think that new owner needs to come in, put the building blocks down. The new stadium's already there, but for me, the big thing is from top to bottom, the people who are involved within the club, whether it be the current board, Colin Chong, for example, Mashiri, he's going to go anyway. Then you look at the manager and his backroom staff and a lot of the players. He's going to come in and he's going to hit that reset button, and this is what we've needed. He won't pull no punches, as I said to you before, Michael. If he doesn't like the job that the manager's doing, he will just get rid of him. And it seems as if money's no object to him, because he's a proper businessman who has been very, very, very successful. I don't think he'll throw money round and put us in the position that we have been in under the current owner. Like he acted like he'd give his kids his credit card in a sweet shop and just say, get what you want. So I think he's going to run it properly, because you don't get that successful like he has by being silly, but you don't get successful as well by not making the right decisions from the day-to-day running of the club and bringing the right people in. And for me, I think he's the sort of fella who comes across who will do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's only fair that we mentioned John Textor, who publicly come out and said that he wanted to own Everton. He spoke very highly of Everton. He's had this situation with his shares. He's probably not worth as much as Dan Friedkin, blah, 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 blah. So I think whether it's sped up Dan Friedkin coming back, whether it's sped up the process of where Everton are now, or, i.e. the purchase and all of this news. But I do just want to place on record, for irrespective of what happened, is that I'm grateful that John Textor spoke so highly of Everton, because I know it's actually annoyed Everton looking at some of the posts I've read. But he's probably the first person who's come out in the media and actually said something positive about us. So I just want to say that I'm grateful for it, because he put his balls on the line, and irrespective that he's not going to be the owner of Everton, he still supported us. We've still got Mangala, for example, who's a Roma player. We've still got players that, we still had, not Roma, sorry, Leon. We've still got Leon's players, we've still got these ties with Leon, and, we tried to bring in a winger and stuff. He tried to do right by Everton in a very short period of time of getting to know them. I can't fault him for that.
He shot himself in the foot with the interview he done. And I think me and you know quite well, and, it has been well publicised, that he upset people at Everton Football Club at that interview. Whether it was right, whether it was wrong, I totally agree with you. It was nice to hear a voice talking about the football club that we love, speaking very highly. But by all accounts, there were certain people within the club that didn't like that interview he'd done. So I don't think he's done himself any favours. But again, I'm totally with you. I'm grateful for him showing interest. And, when Dan Friedkin walked away and John Textor was showing interest in the club, we were happy with that as well. Because, again, he's a successful businessman. And anyone can be better than the current owner. Let's put that on record. But for someone to show interest in our football club as high profile as John Textor, and to speak so well of our club, then we can only thank him for that and wish him all the best in the future, whatever he wants to do if he gets rid of his 45% in Palace.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, completely agreed. Just want to talk about what this could mean for Sean Dyche. This manager, this owner isn't the owner yet. It's a process, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it takes. Could you see any way that Sean Dyche actually lasts them 8 or 12 weeks? Or do you think he says to Mashiri, pull the trigger and, we'll do some form of deal to pay it off, we'll do some. Because fundamentally, we could be stuck now with Sean Dyche for another 12 weeks. At this rate that we're going, I'd really be concerned.
Well, there's two answers to your question. One, we all know football's a results-based business. Now, if for some mad reason that Sean Dyche manages to turn it round in the next 8, 10, 12 weeks, however long it's going to take, then you can't really sack him. But do I see a miracle happening and for the results to all of a sudden improve and us climb up and up and up and up the table? No, I don't under the current manager. The second answer I will give you, what you said about maybe we'll do something with Bashiri and say, look, it looks like I'm going to pass these tests, which we all think he will. Here's 10 million quid, pay Sean Dyche and his backroom staff off and bring an interim manager until the end of the season, whoever that may be, or if he's got a manager lined up already, or there's managers in his thoughts already, because as you said before, the deal's probably further on than what we think. So if Sean Dyche miraculously turns it round, then he might be there till John Textor comes in and he sees how he goes then. Do I think Sean Dyche gets this extra year? That's, you know, the option on the current contract that he's on. No, I don't. Not under Dan Friedkin. No, I don't. But it's a results-based business. So let's see how he does until he comes in. If he carries on struggling, then I'd like to think there will be some sort of thing in place with Dan Friedkin and Bashiri where he'll go, I've just landed 10 million quid in your bank there, Farhad. Just get rid of him and I'll sort the rest. You know, Leighton Baines is pulling up trees, and I'm not saying I want him as a full-time manager, but a lot of the time, when you get a manager who's sacked, for the time being, you'd always sort of look. We've done it with John Ebrell when he was at the club, when Baines was there as well, and he worked along with Duncan. I think that was around that time. So Leighton Baines might step up just to try and steady the ship, but we can't let it drag on and on and on and on because we do need points on the board. So it's going to be an interesting 2 to 3 months now while this process takes place to see what happens with the manager and what Dan Friedkin's going to do about the situation we're in.
Yeah. What do you think the first thing Dan Friedkin does? January the 1st. It's January the 1st. Everton are, I don't know. I don't know where you think Everton might be in the league come January 1st, but it's January 1st. What do you do as Dan Friedkin?
Offer 400 million to Man City for De Bruyne and Haaland. Well, listen, I think, to be fair, he's going to be looking at what he's going to be doing even before he's took over. That's what a good businessman does. So he's going to know what needs doing at the club already. There's going to be funds available. I think he's in the statement today, he was sort of hinting at that, you know, that there is going to be funds available to whoever the manager may be. John Textor said the same as well. You know, he wanted the deal done by the 30th of November to get ready for the transfer window. So whoever comes in, there is going to be funds in January. I think he rips the ball completely apart. I think he brings his own men in, not waits till the end of the season and keeps these people on. I think the change happens very, very quick. I think he rips the club up in an instant, in my opinion. But I don't know. The first thing on his list is obviously the managerial situation. Then he'll want his own board in. Then he'll want to sort the manager out, whoever it may be. And then I do think money will be spent in January. And listen, we're not going to be under any pressure now anymore to sell our better players, the likes of Jared Brantwaite. We knew that anyway because Jared's still here. If we were in a position, we would have had to sell him in the summer. So we haven't got that hanging over us as much now. So I think he's going to build on the good players that we've got and see where we go from there.
If you're Sean Dyche right now,
shitting myself.
Yeah.
Well, are you shitting yourself? Because he's probably going to get 7-8 million quid, whatever it is. He's got 8 months left on his contract, so he's going to get a couple of million quid, 5-6 million quid, whatever it might be. He's not bothered. I think he wants to heave out, to be fair.
Yeah, I just find it mad. I'm just reading the statement. I'm literally looking at it as we speak, and it's a very professional statement. You know, it's very, the deal's agreed. Blue Heaven, Friedkin Group, 400 to 500 million pound equity. Blah 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 blah. It just looks. It sounds stupid, but it looks like it's a touch of class already.
Well, it's worded right. It's worded right, isn't it? And it's a while since we've seen statements that have been worded right. The right words have been used, but also the words that have been used have given us as a fan base hope. You know, 500 million pound equity. If I'm not mistaken, I think you've explained to me. Listen, I'm thick when it comes to stuff like that. I'm assuming equity means no debt on the club.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So straight away, 500 or 600 million equity, basically no debt on the club. For me, that's a massive step. That's a massive, massive step. It's worded professionally, as you quite rightly say, but it hits the big points for us as a fan base. If any questions that anybody had is explained in that little statement. And also as well, I think Julia Bowl put a tweet out today of the breakdown of the deal, and it's already agreed, and due diligence was already done when he had the exclusivity period in June, I think it was. 777 were the main stipulation why he walked away the first time. They've agreed on that. The deal's agreed and basically signed, but not signed, if you know what I mean. And obviously, in the thing that Julia put out, the last bit was getting past the Premier League and the fitting owners test, and obviously the financial authority side of it, whatever it is, which I don't think there'll be a problem. So it's being broke down well from everyone, whether it be Dan Friedkin or whether it be Julia Bold. There's been a lot explained in a short space of time. And I think that's why, as Everton fans, we are excited with this.
Yeah, I completely agree. Last point. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Does he sign a new deal now?
Well, I don't think he signs a new deal because of the owner. I think if he's going to sign a new deal, it'll be with the manager who we bring in. I think it's very well highlighted. I mentioned it on here the other day. Doesn't like the style of play under Dyche. Obviously, while you've got a manager there who you're not fitting into his style of play, and you don't like the way he plays, and you don't like the way he is around the club, and you don't like his tactics, and you don't like his substitutions, you're not going to sign a deal, are you? The deal's been on the table since last Christmas. Sean Dyche was there then. I don't think Dan Friedkin changes that. I think what changes it is the manager he brings in, whether he'll utilise Dominic's, capabilities more than what the current manager is. So I think when you look at Dominic, I think it's got to be down to who's managing him in the future if he signs that deal.
Yeah, I agree. He was a betting man. Who's the next manager of Everton Football Club?
Graham Potter.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that excites me.
It excites me, but the thing is, Graham Potter, we all know he wants to rebuild the whole team. Again, doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time. But what I will say, excuse me, Graham Potter will use the players in the right positions and he'll have better tactics. What we've seen from Graham Potter, he does make better in-game decisions. They can't be any worse than the current manager, can they? But for me, Graham Potter is still quite a young manager. You don't get the Chelsea job if you're rubbish, really, to be honest about it.
Yeah.
He done wonders at Brighton. To be honest with you, I think sort of Graham Potter started the ball rolling for Brighton where they are now, probably the best run club in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They put managers out of there. Graham Potter was there, then they went for De Zerbi. They've got a 31-year-old now who's probably younger than most of the team there. So Brighton do it right, and they had no problems with bringing Potter in, and that's when he got the move from Brighton. So obviously he's done something right there. And I think when you look at Everton now, I'm not going to say they're going to be run as well as what Brighton are, because it's going to take a long time to convince me that we are, because there's that much shit that's dead wood that's at the club now. But if you can bring a manager in like Graham Potter and start running Everton Football Club the way it should have been run and properly with the right people, then it could be a good match. But I'm not a betting man, but I wouldn't mind a Graham Potter.
Yeah, agreed. John, we'll leave it there. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. We are buzzing, absolutely buzzing. The future is blue. It's a term that I've used a few times on this channel, but I think I can truly say it this time. As I said, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Peace.